Hey, good morning, Chillie, with Chillie Cruises here and travel and cruise industry news for the 9th day of November 2019. I'm coming to you live from Bedford County, Virginia at the family farm. It's a cold day here this morning. It's about 25 outside. A little cold for me. I'll probably be inside most of the day today. I don't get out and play farmer in this kind of weather. I hibernate. I admit it. As the older I've gotten, the worse it gets. So I am probably inside for the day, but that's fine. If you're new to this space, we talk about travel and cruise industry news of all sorts and facets. It's on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And in the background, you can probably hear Brat the cat, who is prowling around this morning, claiming that he hasn't been fed. And of course, that's totally untrue. I fed him less than an hour ago, so he's just being obnoxious, which also is normal for Brat the cat. He's liable to come and visit us, who knows, with cats. But I do hear him yowling in the background, and folks, he's just being obnoxious. That's all. Getting right to it this morning with the first, welcome to any of you new guys. Our subscriber count keeps going up. We're up to 1610. It just keeps growing, a couple people every day. Welcome to all you new guys. Feel free to join in the chat. I try to get back to chat at the end of the broadcast, and any comments that have been made, I appreciate. And of course, I try to say something to most of you guys if you are there. But anyway, getting right to the news this morning, we've got a couple stories to cover. Of course, you guys know that I have been involved from the outside and done some helping with the recovery efforts for the Bahamas. A friend of mine has been and continues to fly relief efforts and supplies from here in Lynchburg to the Bahamas. I think he's now up to some 40 some flights that he's made down there with plane full of supplies. And I'm thankfully am able to help a little with that effort from this end. But Carnival yesterday, and I'm always a little leery of self-aggrandizement of certain people in the cruise industry taking credit for things and making statements to try to make the company look good as opposed to other companies. But I'll say this about Carnival, and I make no bones about it. I've been a Carnival guy most of my cruise life. I'm going on another Carnival cruise in February. Doesn't mean I don't fuss at them with some of the absolutely stupid things that they've done and some of the environmental things that they have, rights that they keep trampling on. But at any rate, they're taking a little bit of credit for a whole lot of good that they have done with Grand Bahama Island and Freeport as a result of Hurricane Dorian. But the CEO of Carnival was down there, or president, I guess she's president of the line, Christine Duffy. And her senior leadership team was on Grand Bahama Island yesterday. And then on board one of the Carnival ships, they had a conference called GirlCon Conference. I'm not really sure what GirlCon, GIRL, capital CON Conference stands for, what it stands for. But anyway, several of her senior staff members spoke at this conference. And one of the things that they talked about was the future of Grand Bahama Island's specifically the Freeport area. And some interesting things came out from that. There's been no doubt that Carnival, as well as several of the other cruise lines, have done the right thing. They've stepped up and have helped and continue to help in the recovery / rebuilding efforts on Grand Bahama Island. My hat's off to that. But this specifically deals with on beyond just the continuing efforts for relief and so forth that they continue to support. Carnival is pledged to build basically the whole south side of the island. They are going to rebuild it. Let's see if I can see what specifically they're calling it. They've not given it a name yet that I see. But anyway, they're basically developing the south side of the island, which will be a strong economic development and a positive impact in the area. Once completed, the site will not only provide Carnival passengers with what's being called a unique Bahamian destination, but will, long before it's open, provide economic stimulus to the area, both long and short term. A lot of jobs from construction on. Carnival currently brings 400,000 guests to Grand Bahama Islands each year, and that's expected to go up. Construction of the Grand Bahama Island project is expected to begin sometime early in 2020, I mean. So early next year, and it will, there's not a completion date on the south side area. But one of the things that I find interesting is that this new destination on Grand Bahama Island, the construction will be able to withstand a Category 5 hurricane, which of course is what they had to deal with Hurricane Dorian. It's estimated that Carnival is going to spend somewhere in the vicinity of $100 million just for the project. So hats off to Carnival. I'll fuss at you guys when I need to, but I certainly support the efforts that you and several of the other companies have gone through on the reconstruction of Freeport and Grand Bahama Island. Okay, a couple other things to point out. Speaking of the Bahamas, Norwegian, I saw this yesterday and almost choked. December the 2nd, I believe it is, Norwegian Sky out of Miami, $98 for a 4-night cruise to the Bahamas. I've never seen a price like that before. $25 a day. And I think that includes one of the freebies, like free drinks or free, at least one of the freebies, depending on what category you choose. $98, of course, is an inside cabin. But the rest of the prices were just utter, that's ridiculous. And I'm not sure if it's some of the other dates, but I do know it was that December 2nd date, because I immediately looked at my calendar to see if I can get away, and I can. But December 2nd sailing is just an unbelievable price. So if you can get away, then man, they got some just awesome deals right now. That was the Norwegian Sky out of Miami. And with it includes at least one of the following freebies: a free drink package, free Wi-Fi, shore excursion credits, free specialty dining, guest 3 and 4 in a stateroom free. You can pick at least one of those depending on your cabin. So just throwing this out, man, that's fabulous pricing from Norwegian. Unbelievable. Another one that I saw, and quite frankly, folks, I know absolutely nothing about dream cruises, but starting in November of this year through January of 2020, Dream Cruises is turning their 150,000 gross ton cruise ship World Dream into one of the most beloved works of literature. The ship will come to life, and passengers will be able to follow Alice in Wonderland going through the rabbit hole and enter the whimsical world of the White Rabbit, the Mad Hatter, and the Red Queen for the most magical Christmas adventure ever. Now, again, folks, I don't know the first thing about Dream Cruises, other than that it's a pretty good looking ship, but they've got an Alice in Wonderland, Alice, I guess it would be Alice Christmas Wonderland, on a cruise ship. You're looking for a Christmas cruise, you might want to look at that just for what they're doing. And again, folks, I'm not promoting this. I don't know anything about them. I just thought it was a pretty interesting story. A couple other things to mention. And every now and then a news item comes up that I get aggravated that they just are not answering the right questions. Last night, an ambulance hazardous area crew was sent to Heathrow Airport after a British Airways plane from Budapest landed. And the hazardous area team was sent to check over the passengers. The flight landed shortly before 7 p.m. That's their time, which would have been, afternoon our time, but 7 p.m. last night in London time. The passengers were checked over by the ambulance service because of an incident on the plane, so says a Heathrow spokesman. They also confirmed that police, ambulance, and fire services attended the protocol with emergencies on flight. The problem, folks, they never said what the hell happened. Why this flight was, the passengers were held off. There was an incident with one of the passengers who had some kind of a panic attack because they were kind of locked in a room. But there's no real reason as to why all this happened. So I'm not real sure about what's going on with British Airways and why they did it. There was a report, unconfirmed, that a passenger died in flight. Well, that's not a reason necessarily to bring out a hazardous team. I don't know. This is just a strange story, and without enough facts. And why they publish a story like that without a proper factual basis, I'm not sure. But anyway, something strange happened with a British Airways flight from Budapest to, I assume it was going to Heathrow when it landed in Heathrow. The passengers were eventually all let go. They were released, but they were held for some time while they did this checking. All right, one other story, and this one bothers me a little bit. I understand, because I've been there myself. If you're an absolute cruise addict, as I am, at times you want to go on a cruise when you don't have enough money to do so, and that's never a good situation, but we all tend to do it if we're cruise nuts. Carnival has come out with a program. They've hooked up with a finance company, Uplift, to give loans to folks to buy cruise packages and travel packages. With Uplift Vacation, this is a quote from them, from Carnival. Vacationers can budget for their cruise by making low monthly payments for up to 24 months. Now that sounds great. The program's available through any travel advisor, carnival.com, or via Carnival call centers. That sounds great. So basically, you want to go on a cruise. You're borrowing the money to go on a cruise and paying it back over 24 months. Here's this fine print, folks, with interest up to 35.99%. Now, that, wow, I thought there were usury laws that would preclude that from happening. 35.99%, that's an awful lot of interest, folks. In addition, they're charging $100 or origination fee. So if you want to do this deal, you're going to pay $100 for the service and then pay 35.99%. To me, that's robbery. Just my opinion. If I had to borrow money to go on a cruise, well, first place at my age, I wouldn't do that. But as a younger man, I might have considered it when I didn't have enough money to do so. But maybe I could understand borrowing money to go on a cruise and paying it off over time. But I would certainly go to my local credit union or bank and look at it that way, and probably not pay 35.99% interest. That's just awful. Again, some folks, and there's no information if this is more liberal in their loaning procedures. It still says that it has to be approved. So if you've got bad credit, you still may not be able to get this financing. But so folks, be very careful of this because of the amount of interest. 35.99%, that's pretty high, it seems to me. If I'm totally wrong on this, somebody that's a lot smarter than I am, feel free to jump into the comments and let us know. If I'm reading this wrong, I'd be more than happy for you to chime in on that one. Okay, sip of coffee here. That about wraps it up for this morning here on a cold Saturday morning from Bedford County, Virginia, at 25 degrees outside. I'm probably going to get my blankie and wrap up in my chair and take a nap. Wow. Sure not going to go out and get on the tractor and wrangle leaves today in that kind of weather. No, it's not going to happen. So anyway, we regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ship sports that call cruises themselves, my interview show is called Chillie Chats, and the travel and cruise industry news. Excuse me for the throat, folks. Travel and cruise industry news on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hit the little subscribe button. Click the bell notification. You'll be notified when I go live or when I post a new video, which we're trying to do, every day or every other day, something new goes up because I've still got a lot of stuff in the can that I'm working on. So hit the bell notification. And as always, appreciate a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that you're watching and you care. So that's it for the news this morning. You guys have a great weekend. If you're in some of this cold weather that a good bit of the United States is getting this next few days, stay warm, folks. And anything major happens, of course, over the weekend, I'll either get a video up on it or do another live broadcast. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you guys Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. for the next episode of Travel and Cruise Industry News. For now, this is Chillie with Chillie's Cruises. Later, y'all.